Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty, and today I'm doing something a bit unusual. I was going to review Aquaman, the new one, 6-issue miniseries, new person being Aquaman. And my reason for reviewing it was basically because there's been times I've read Aquaman in the past and not really got on with it. I couldn't tell you exactly why. Even friends and people I know who said you should check out the new creator, they're great things, never quite landed for me. But we sold out of it. And we've also sold out of this one, but at least I have a copy. My business partner has one reserved and he's let me read and review it. And it is another one where I've read stuff with the character in and never really got on with it. Since he's dying, I thought might be a good time to give it another go. So here we go with Doctor Strange. Hand on my heart here, the last time I read Doctor Strange one, it was when he'd ran out of magic and Iron Man sent him to space. And it was just such a on the nose comic book thing. I couldn't really take it seriously, and I ended up wandering away from it. This one actually did the opposite. Actually grabbed me really early on, and kind of like two individual instances of kind of odd things that probably don't make that much difference to a lot of people, but I quite like. First off, I just like a chapter card. I think that's a really nice idea. It looks great. It adds to it quite effectively. Secondly, on the other page here, we get a look at Stephen Strange's bedroom. There's just something about that little item on top of the wardrobe there, which just grabbed my attention and made me think to myself, this is the kind of small little detail which is brilliant, because at some point in the past there could have been an epic quest to find that magical medallion, and it's just because Stephen took it off one day, put it on top of his wardrobe and forgot about it, and it's been there for years. And I love that kind of small human story in the middle of everything else, and it's not even a story in the comic book. It's a headcanon thing, and another reason I like comic books. There is so much about comic books which allow interpretation. If you're reading a book, it has to, kind of set out everything for you, because your only interaction with it is the words on the page. With comic books, because you have art and words mixed, you can put your own interpretation on these things a little bit more, and you can add your own stories to it. Like, is it important that there is a shadow in a certain place? Maybe not, but you can think it is, and that adds to your enjoyment of the comic book. This does it really quite well. And it's weirdly that set of small little moments which made me enjoy it all the way through it. There's bits where Stephen is speaking and teaching at the Strange Academy, and he's talking about huge things, but he's doing it in a way that sounds very much like being a teacher. His interactions with the characters are brilliant. He's taking his dead or his ghost dog for a walk. I assume dead, but I don't even know if it's his dog. And there's a great little bit where he meets somebody who is having a little bit of a major magical malfunction, and some of the police officers are pointing guns at him, and he quite rightly says, this is not a man who is dangerous, this is a man who's in crisis. And that little moment was really quite nice as well. It kind of adds to my own little thing of storytellers using comic books and magic and genre fiction to tell important things. And some people might say that, yeah, okay, that is like the lowest, most easy thing somebody can do. But I've got to say, doing the absolute minimum is still better than doing nothing. And maybe somebody reading that might think, yeah, actually, maybe police officers should actually have better training to do people in crisis. And not just because they might be magical explosions, but because sometimes you don't want to just murder somebody because they're having a bad day. But, my own little take on that one. But again, what comic books do well is they allow you to put your own little take on it. Sad to say, the artwork for it is kind of uninspirational. Lee Garber is a fully functioning, great artist, but it's Marvel in-house style, and it very rarely adds anything to the situation. There's some quite nice touches when some interdimensional demons are attacking Strange Academy and they go to the baseball diamond and they happen to be wearing baseball outfits. Kind of nice little touch there, but there's not much where the art or even the page layouts make me think it's been done with this story in mind. It's more just part of telling the story. Again, you can put your own interpretation on, that's fine. It's the writing that really does this one for me. As I say, those small little moments. There's an excellent bit where Wong pulls up Strange for the fact that he no longer talks like he used to do when he was straight out of the Mystic Academy, and he was all sounds and forsooths, because as Stephen himself says, he was surrounded by mystics for a very long time, and it kind of rubs off on you, especially when you're impressionable and this is a big changing moment in your life. It speaks to a truism, or actual true thing, of a lot of people when they're growing up or they're going through major things. You find yourself taking on affectations and speech patterns of things that matter to you at the time or friends you made, people that are important to you. It's not an unusual thing, and it's kind of cool to see it represented as somebody who is literally the most powerful magician on the planet, who still does this kind of thing. And it took him years to kind of realize that he was doing it and dropped out of it and allowed himself to be just who he wanted to be, rather than expectation or even his internal expectation of the way he should speak and the way he should act. And yes, at the end, he dies. That weirdly didn't feel like the most important thing to me, though. I enjoyed the story for what it was, not for what it was telling. And I could go on for an extra minute about how frustrating it is when Marvel and DC do these big kind of crossovers, tagging in and dragging in lots of other characters. But I've got to say, just for this, I just enjoyed it. Jed MacKay's a good writer. Enjoy his work. You will not be disappointed. I'm going to come back tomorrow. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.